Hey y'all, it's Matt with Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews. We're back on Icon of the Seas and we're checking out another balcony room. This is room 8196 here on the 8th deck. We're going to give you a detailed tour and overview of this room and we'll let you know if we'd stay in it again. Let's check it out. As we said, 8196. It is a double door opening, so you do have another neighbor's door right next to you. Just up the hall is the forward elevators. An interesting thing to note about this room, you can get to it from the forward elevators, but back here, this is a dead end. You cannot get to it from the rear elevators or the midship elevators. This is actually runs into the Pearl, the space above the Pearl Cafe and the Pearl itself. So it dead ends here, but we haven't found that to be a problem. We found it's really close up to the forward elevators and then you can get to where you need to go. Let's head on in. Quick view of the room off the bat. As you can see, this is a configuration where the bed is towards the bathroom, the sofa is towards the balcony. I'm more of a fan of when the bed is near the balcony. If you want to see an Icon room with the bed closer to the balcony, I'll put a link up above to the room we stayed in previously. As we always do, let's start with the entryway. Your muster station is C2 on deck 5. And as you come in the room, you have your bathroom on the left, along with your HVAC controls. They are digital controls, so you simply dial up and down. My one tip is don't ever use the sleep mode if you like it cool. When you put it into sleep mode, that actually turns down the AC. Not a big fan of that mode. You've got some lighting controls here. You also have a floor to ceiling mirror, and this mirror doubles as a storage area. So you open it up, and you have shelving in here. One thing to note, the shelving is not very deep. You can see my hand right there. This is also where your safe is. Safe does go a little deeper, it goes past this wall, but it's not a large safe, it's standard ship safe. Wallets, passports. There is your access point for the room for the internet. So every room has its own internet access point, which is very nice. And on the right side, as you come in the room, you do have some hooks here. This is where we have our robes. All right, let's hit the bed area. On this side of the bed, you don't have an end table actually, you just have a shelf here. You can see I've just put my backpack. It's actually a nice place to put my backpack, but it would be nice to have some more shelves here. So you just have this one shelf here. It is different on the other side. You have your reading lamp, simple on and off. You do have a USB type A plug here, which I haven't used because there's a US outlet on this side. I've been using one of my handy Anchor USB-C hubs. And you also have a room light switch here. Typical Royal King. I have noticed this one's been a little actually soft. Most people complain about cruise beds being too firm. I've actually found this one to be a little soft. So I would like a firmer bed because my back enjoys a firmer bed. I love the blue headboard, just really nice aesthetic there. Over here on this side, it is a little crowded over here because we have the back cushions from the sofa down. But this is the end table that's there. And you do have a few shelves under there, though Rebecca has not used them. Your ship phone is right there. The same reading lamp, on off, USB type A connector, very convenient. No US outlet on this side. I would like to have seen them put a US outlet on both sides of the bed. One thing to note for this reading lamp is it's adjustable. You can shade it this way for someone reading in the bed, or shade it this way for someone reading at the sofa. This is the sofa area. Let me show you a picture of what the sofa looks like not made up as a bed. But you can see it's just made, they took the cushions off, they just made it up for Ryan to sleep in as it is. There's no pull out on this sofa, so you could not use this room for 4 people. This would be a room for a maximum of 3, and some nice artwork above the bed. I do love the aesthetic of these rooms. You can see that bar with LED lighting, the LED lighting in the side of the bed. Let's take a look at the vanity area. You do have this table here. It can slide out, go wherever, but we found with the bed being like this was a good spot for it. And this is the whole vanity area. You do have a lighted mirror. That you notice the desk area, it tapers off. It's quite thin. I was doing some editing work here the other day and it's It's a small space to work in. I wouldn't say the most comfortable space if you're looking to do some work while you're on board. You have shelving up above here. Down under here, you have 3 drawers. They are pretty decently sized. Not super deep, but they're deep enough. They do the job. 3 good sized drawers. Forgot to show you here, you do have a desk drawer here where your hair dryer and your tissues will be. And then underneath is your ship cooler. I say cooler, not refrigerator, because these really just cool. They are not as cold as a refrigerator as you might have at home. In fact, it even says that right here. These are a little smaller than ones we've seen on other ships, so they brought the size down on the Icon class ships. Back up on top, you have a lamp here. This is fixed, so it's not gonna go anywhere. You have a lighting control out to the balcony. And then let's show you the outlets that you have in this area. Lighting controls here. You have a European 220 volt outlet, 2 USB Type A's, an interesting combination UK-US outlet, but it's only 120 volts, so most UK outlets that I've ever seen have been 220 volt. Very interesting if you're bringing UK stuff here to be plugged in. And then way over on this side, you have 2 USB-C type plugs, which I found very convenient because most of our equipment these days is USB-C. I would say for the area up above a Vanity, you might have been able to use a shelf or 2 up here just to get some additional storage, but this room does do pretty good for storage, which I'll show you in a moment. Here you have the TV. I think it's a 55-inch TV. We haven't really used it at all, but I'm sure it works just fine. And speaking of storage, tucked into this corner right here, you do have some nice shelves, so very convenient for storing things. And also 2 USB Type A outlet. Now it's going into the aesthetic, nice LED lighting up along there. Just makes the room look really nice. So let's head into the closet area. On the left-hand side, you have, this is the only full-length space. And this is where we've dumped all our shoes at the bottom. Not a lot of good space for shoe storage. And then on the right-hand side, you have a wider space and plenty of closet storage. And a nice big shelf here. You can throw a few things there. Underneath here, you have the very interesting decision they went with to go with baskets instead of drawers. I myself would rather have drawers and not have to see the clothing that's here. But it's fine, it works. It can be a little squeaky sometimes when you're pulling the baskets out. They do come all the way out easily, so if you need to really just pull them out, that's convenient. Hear that squeal? They do the job, it's fine. You can put a lot in them, I give them that. All right, let's check out the bathroom. This is the same bathroom you get on most standard rooms here on Icon of the Seas. As you come in on the left, you do have your ship toilet. Again, the storage theme, you have a number of shelves here for storage, so big fan of that. A towel rack here. Over on this side, you have your sink area. Not a lot of shelving up here. The shower design in the newer ships has taken up some of that shelving area, but it's actually okay because they make up for it with a lot of shelves. I mean, there's a lot of storage here we're not even using. Your trash can, full-size mirror, hey everybody, and then number of shelves up there. I'm always a fan of having high shelves, especially when you store medication you don't want your kid to get into. But the best part about the redesign of the Icon class ships is the shower. It's a much larger shower than you'd see in some of the older ships where you almost had like tubes you were showering in. And the door, it swings open on this pivot mechanism down there. So it opens like this. You have a really, it's hard to see in a video, but you have a really wide space down here with plenty. You actually have a seat right there, a shelf there for storage, 2 shelves up above. I'm actually gonna hop in for a second. You have your Salt and Breeze double duty hair and body wash, your shower wand, your controls, plenty of hot water in here. I would like an increase in water pressure. That was the same in our other trip on Icon, that the water just wasn't super high pressure, so I'm guessing that's pretty common for this ship. And then over on this side, again, you do have that seat handle here, and your towels are up here, up above. But this is so big that the towels don't get wet at all while you're showering. So one tip to show you about this shower, When you open the door, because of the way it hinges, it actually kind of blocks your access to the controls here. What I do is I don't open it all the way, and that leaves a little hole here. I can reach in easily, change, well, with my other arm, I'd be able to reach in and easily start the shower, get the temperature right, and then pull it out. And then when I'm ready to go in, just open up and head in. Let's go check out the balcony. It's a nice wide open view, so you do get a nice view outside from the room. One thing to note, the blinds here, you don't have a sheer blind. So if you like the sheer blinds, they aren't available here, but you do have 2 blinds. They do a decent job at cutting out the light. You do have a child safety lock here. And then down here is the handle. It's simple to operate. Just bring it up, and a very easy pull. We're actually here in Cozumel. We've got the nice waterside view today, not facing the land, so big fan of that. We've got the Carnival, what is that? The Carnival Valor way over there. But back to the balcony, which is what we're here for. This is it. It's a standard balcony. Our other review that we pointed out earlier has the large balcony, which is essentially the same width but deeper. This does hold 2 chairs that do fold back and then have an ottoman, and we have a table in the middle. Also to point out, you do have the full glass with just the rail going across. Big fan of that because you get the nice view no matter where you're sitting from. There's a view back, trying to get as much of the balcony in the frame as possible. It's good size for a standard balcony. It certainly does what a balcony is supposed to do, and I have enjoyed our time out here. Just to note, you do have openings on either side right there. That does allow you to join this balcony to the balconies on either side. So now it's time to answer, would we stay in this room, room 8196 again? Let's go over some of the pros and cons. Pros for this room, I actually do like its location. Now, it's not high up. It's the 2nd lowest deck with balconies, but we still had a great view from here on the 8th deck. And even being cut off from the mid elevators, we'd probably be going from the front elevators anyway because they're so close. But the other advantage of this location is you're right around the corner from Central Park. So it's an easy walk, and it's a nice walk through there. We really enjoy Central Park. The other pro of this room, and it's gonna be the same pro with many of the rooms on this ship, is the aesthetic. Or compared to rooms on older ships, I really enjoy the aesthetic. I really enjoy the charging capabilities, just the design of this room, except for the couple of things. I'm not a big fan of the drawers, the basket drawers, things like that, but those are just minor quibbles. Really enjoy the design of this room. And then the third thing I really like about this room, the shower. Could use some higher pressure in the shower, but the design of the shower that enables you to stretch out in there, really enjoy that. What are the cons of this room? Well, again, it is only on the 8th deck, so if you really want a high up room, this isn't gonna be the room for you. It's fairly close to elevators, but it is a little bit of a walk from the front elevator, so if you're mobility impaired, you may want to choose a room that is closer to the lobby. And the only other minor thing I could really talk about is the shower pressure. I'd love to find a room on Icon with higher water pressure in the shower. So would we stay in this room again? Absolutely. This has been a great room for us, not a problem at all. If I was going to go on Icon again, I'd probably be trying to look for a room that has the bed closer to the window. That's what I prefer. But this room's been great. We've really enjoyed our time here and our time on the balcony. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, give us a big like, let us know in the comments, and make sure you check out the rest of the Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future cruising content. This is Matt with Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews. Happy cruising, everybody.